Hello and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'd like to share with you some openers that I like to use with the burst build that I mentioned in yesterday's talents video. I'll leave a link to the video this opener guide pertains to in the description below. For this video, I'm going to go over each opener in slow motion and then I'm going to play it in full speed so you can see what it's like. I'm just going to use the target dummy so it's less confusing for newer players to follow along. Before I go into these openers, here's the talents that allow this build to work most effectively. If you need a little bit more time to look at these, feel free to pause the video for a second. For purposes of this video, I've enabled the add-on TrueFig CD. I don't normally play with this, but it'll make it easier for people to follow along. So when I use abilities, it'll clearly show along the bottom of the screen. For this first opener, it's a slight improvement on the opener that I released in the end of the last video. Someone had mentioned to me that my opener was slightly inefficient, and I believe this is an improvement on it. So first, I'm going to open up with Shadow Blade Cheap Shot into a Night Blade just for the 15% damage increase. Then I'm going to pop Dance and Symbols of Death, which is off global cooldown and should be used before you come off global. Then use Cold Blood Shadow Strike into a Cheap Shot, which should give you 6 combo points, followed with an Eviscerate, and then a Marked for Death Eviscerate, and then followed up with Goremaw's Bite. At this point, that's going to be doing a lot of burst damage. And the reason why this opener is stronger than the previously mentioned one is because all 4 of those abilities, your Shadow Strike, both Eviscerates, and Goremaw's Bite, are all going to take advantage of that Shadow Dance and that Dark Shadow buff that you have talented. Here's the exact same clip again, but in full speed. This is the kind of opener when you want to go for a quick hard burst, like something you do with Mage Rogue 2s, or if you're just like out ganking somebody or you're trying to take somebody out really quick in a battleground. There are better ways you can set up off of Kidney Shot, and I'll get to that in a second, but this is a good, solid way to burst really hard. The following opener is good in particular if you're given the freedom to set up on somebody and you don't have to worry about being healed. It's great in situations such as healer DPS 2s where you're free to chase down the enemy healer, or you're just caught in a 1v1 situation with a healer in a battleground. For the following opener, you're going to have a full Nightblade active for 15% damage already, and you're going to have enough points to Kidney Shot. Then, you're going to Shadow Dance Symbols of Death before the global cooldown finishes, Cold Blood Shadow Strike, follow with the Goremaw's Bite for 6 combo points. Then you'll use Eviscerate and a Mark for Death Eviscerate. I have a crazy all-in variation of this opener that I'll show again in a second, right after I play this back in full speed. So for this opener, it's going to be pretty much the same as the last. However, we're going to abuse the overwhelming potential of Shadow Blades and all the combo points it gives us. So we're going to have a full Nightblade active for the 15% damage increase. We're going to pop Kidney Shot and Shadow Blades, and then we're going to follow with Symbols of Death and Shadow Dance right before the global cooldown finishes. Follow up with Cold Blood Shadow Strike. That'll give you around 5 combo points give or take because of shadow techniques. Then Eviscerate for 5. Goremaw's Bite, Shadow Strike, that should give us 6 combo points, Eviscerate, and then Shadow Dance Cheap Shot to reapply Dark Shadows into a Shadow Strike, follow with Eviscerate, and it finished with another Mark for Death Eviscerate. This considers you pretty much have all of your cooldowns active, and you're probably not going to get to use this often, but if you do, this is the maximum burst I believe Subtlety is capable of right now. It's incredible burst damage. The last opener I'll leave you guys with is a lot less cooldown dependent, and it's very good for quick swaps when you're playing 3s as things such as RMP and RMD. And it's just good to be able to do some kind of burst damage when you have less cooldowns active. So to start off, you're going to open with Cheap Shot and then Nightblade for the 15% damage increase, Symbols of Death and Shadow Dance before the global cooldown finishes, then pop Cold Blood if available and Shadow Strike. Followed up with a Cheap Shot, and then Eviscerate and Mark for Death Eviscerate. If Mark for Death isn't available, just simply follow with a short Cheap Shot and pray your teammate finishes them off. I'll play this last opener back in full speed, and that's going to do it for this video. I'd like to thank you for all the continued support on my previous videos, and the feedback has been greatly appreciated. That's all for now, and please like, comment, and subscribe for more if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all again very soon.